Okay, in this syllabus review and exercise, I'm going to just go over the basics of the syllabus and the course content, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do that in less than 10 minutes. To get started, this is an asynchronous course, so that means that there's no weekly time. You don't have to log in at Tuesday at 10 a.m., for example. But because that doesn't work well with everybody, some of you will do your work at 10 p.m., some of you will do it at 3 p.m., whatever some of you do on weekends. I provide a lot of different options for you, and I'll offer optional Zoom sessions, so you don't have to go to those, but you can if you want to, and I try to make them interesting, and I try to explain assignments and things like that, whatever you need, and I'll check in with you throughout the summer. So just again, this is an asynchronous course, which means there's no regular weekly meetings. You kind of work at your own schedule, and I give you the deadlines kind of in a way that allows you, if you miss it, you can make it up. There's exceptions, of course, with the paper and the exams. Those have to be done on time. But again, we can always work out things if you fall behind because of life. So what is this course, right? This is your constitutional law course. It's a required course for criminal justice majors. It's an optional course for liberal arts students and the other programs. Students who tend to take this class are pre-law. They're interested in going to law school. They're interested in legal issues surrounding the criminal justice occupations, and or they're interested in how the structure of the American legal system and the political constitutional portions of that apply to their regular lives. And so I try to do a little bit of everything for everybody and bring that all together. Ordinarily, you would have taken POL 51, the American Intro class, the 63, the Introduction to the Major, and then probably like Soc 33, which is a required course for criminal justice students, and English 12. And you can kind of see that on the left-hand side of your screen from the degree map from Kingsborough. It's not required that you do that, so it's okay if you're in this class and you've taken the courses out of order. Just talk to me if you're confused about things that you haven't learned about yet. Basically, this class, people get confused, non-lawyers get confused about this class, and they think about it's just about the Bill of Rights. That would be a good topic for your American government class or a history class. This class is more about the process of constitutional law and how that structure, quote unquote, constitutes our identities within the system. So we have to look at that from multiple points of view, and we have to deal with certain facts that some people, I guess, in the media and politics don't want to talk about, which is critical race. So you have to understand the basis of this country is rooted in slavery and racism, and for anyone to get over that and to change that situation, we'd have to at the very least talk about it. And so you're going to learn how that functions within this system. You should know that I've been teaching this class for 10 years, and I've been researching these issues for over 20 years. So critical race is not something new to me, even though it seems to be new in the media and pop culture. The work itself, the materials, you really need to buy the book. I want to put this in perspective by saying three things. This course is typically taught as a junior level course, so we're offering it to you at Kingsborough, so you can get it done now, so that you don't have to take it in the 67 course, the courts class, that you don't have to take it later. You can take it now. Typically, the books for that class would range in the $300 level. The law school version of this class, that book gets into the $400 and $500, if you can believe it. I had to pay that. So what I've done is I took the core content from those books and reduced them down. So that gets it down to $61. I wish I could get it a little bit cheaper, but basically what's different about this book is that I use excerpts from cases and excerpts from social science readings. So those social science readings are largely from culture responsive and equitable sources, meaning that they're minority authors. They get royalties from the usage of their work. Ordinarily, you'd have to buy their whole book, right? So an example is Patricia Hill Collins. Her book, ranges from, $10 to $30, depending on how you find it on Amazon. So there's, 10 or more books like that. So what we've done is those excerpts, reduces the cost, and so the fee that you pay largely goes to those authors. So in other words, they're getting paid. One criticism I have of some of the OER or the zero cost courses is that the quality isn't that great, which is a problem, which means that you're getting a different education than other people, and probably not an equal one, much more segregated. And the other issue is that minority authors aren't getting paid. So there's an equity issue there as well. The other side of this, which is unique, is that the rest of that money then goes back to students who also designed and worked on this book several years ago, and we used class time to do that. So we all made a decision that the money would be better spent going towards the authors and then going towards student research assistants and advocates, and that's how we use the money. Now granted, right, $70, part of that also goes to the publisher, so what's left is not a lot of money, but it's better than nothing, as we say. This is probably what most students want to know when they think about the syllabus. So what I've done is there's 7 pieces to this, and it's pretty fairly divided, so you're not having to get your entire grade based on one thing. These are all important things, and I know you all like to get feedback as quickly as possible, so I want to give you kind of a how you're doing grade, which will be 15% of your final grade. If you're keeping up with the work, I assume that's going to be an A, right? If you're falling behind, then you'll get a B, C, or D, or if the quality of your work is lacking, then I'll let you know there. That kind of gives you an indication of what you need to do to pick things up or to stay the same. There's a paper in this class, the draft. Don't stress about the draft, just churn in the draft, right? That's why it's a draft. That's why it's only 10% of your grade. And then there's a midterm, which will be kind of based on all the stuff up to that point. And that will now be 20% of your grade. So by the midterm point, you'll have about 50% of your grade figured out, and that tells you what you need to focus on, which is largely the final draft of your paper based on my revisions and feedback. Then there's little pieces that lead you up to your final exam, and you can kind of see this as you'll improve or grow as you get closer to the end. Now, this is all about multiple ways of learning, and in real life, right, we know that you don't learn one way, right? You can watch a documentary and learn something, you can read a book and learn something, have a conversation with your friends and family, you learn something. And so the short answer is no, you don't have to do all the assignments. I'm not going to punish you for not doing assignments, which is why I usually accept late work except for the paper and the exams. Those things have to be on time just for my sanity and getting you feedback. If you do in my experience, the students who do all of the assignments, they typically get A's. If you go to ratemyprofessor.com, that's what your peers say as well. If you do the work, in my mind, it seems really hard not to get an A. You're going to know the content, so you're going to be able to get A's on the exams. It's all about learning the context of the cases, and so that's why the reading materials are so important. But, reading comprehension is hard. It's something that you're learning to do in college. This is a junior level course, so I provide all this extra stuff to just make sure that you're learning what you learn. I recommend, by like the 6th or 7th week of the course, if you're doing really well and you're struggling in a different course, then you kind of got the flow of my course. You'll be fine in my class. Don't ghost me or vanish, but I want you to be mostly focusing on the connections to your other criminal justice classes, and actually all of your classes really. And then what are the differences that make a difference? What's different about this constitutional law course? And so, I don't want you to stress. There's just kind of, you're making progress along the way. So basically, you're going to get to work. I'm looking at all these different learning styles. Usually we have 2 or 3. I can do solitary, I can do auditory, I can do visual. In time, right, when you get to be a good learner, then you do all of these really well. But for now, right, you're going to work on the ones that you do best, and that's where you're going to show me what you're learning. And then you'll work on a couple more, and you'll get better over time. This is what the course outline will look like. It'll come in the form of a PDF. You'll see these different options then. I give you very clear instructions, right? So click here, you're going to click there, you're going to complete the task that you have to do. There's a lot of supports for success at Kingsborough. This is something that, people who go here a long time know this. So, you can just Google the Kingsborough Student Handbook and you can find lots of resources. You can go to the Kingsborough website. You can go to the class website, or you can just email me, right? The old-fashioned way. So you can search my name in Outlook, right? In your Kingsborough email, Jason Leggett, it'll come up. Or right here in the right-hand screen, you can see you can email at Gmail if you're struggling with the Kingsborough email. So I don't, you can email me. I try to email people back as quickly as I possibly can. I've divided these sources up into 3 supports, right? There's course supports, and there's the list there. I can help you with any of those things. Life supports, right? Life happens to me too. These are supports to help us get through life. And then there's engagement supports, things that help you become more engaged to your college community and to each other. So your next steps are pretty simple, right? You want to go to Blackboard, look around. The things I use the most are the contents, information, grade center announcements, and discussion board. I've already got the 3 discussion boards up there. You can do the first 2 as soon as you want. The third one will make more sense at the end of the second week. You need to complete the syllabus exercise. That's a required thing. You must get that done by September 19th, or I have to report you to the college as dropping the course. I rarely ever have that happen though, so don't stress. You need to complete the diagnostics. That just gives me a sense of what you already know. That's what I'm going to be measuring you, right? How are you deepening your understanding? I assume you know things because generally people know things. And so I get an idea of where you're going from that diagnostic. And then for those of you who want extra help, or you want honors contracts or extra, I guess gives me the information I need to do that. You should participate in the discussion boards, meaning you should respond to each other when appropriate, but you should include as much information as you can, so answer the questions that I give you. And then you'll complete the week 1 PDF, and that's how week 2 will have a PDF, week 3, etc. If you are somebody who prefers seeing things linear, I have that option for you in the traditional syllabus. And then I also have the course website, which kind of keeps things as we're going, so in real time. And I kind of focus on what I think are the most important things. So that gives you kind of a general idea. And I went over 10 minutes, I think, but not by much.